Christmas trees, Kelly. I mean, we've got lots of colors on the map right now. Ice storm warnings, blizzard warnings, winter storm watches, winter weather advisories, you name it. This is a big system moving through parts of the northern and central plains, and it is dropping a lot of snow and a lot of wind that is reducing visibility. So here, look at some of the snowfall totals. I mean, these are impressive. So if you were dreaming of a white Christmas, you probably got more than you wished for in places like Pierre or Sioux Falls or all the way down to North Platte, where we could see anywhere from 8 to 12 inches of snow. In this area right here of South Dakota, perhaps maybe 12 to 18 inches of snow. Here's a look at the entire system. So very impressive system that's wrapping up in parts of the plains. Now, as some of this cold air is wrapping around behind this low pressure system and some of this moisture, that's where we're seeing the snow. And of course, these white lines, we talk about these a lot. These are isobars, and when you see them packed closely together like that, that indicates a lot of wind. So we have snow coming down at a pretty good clip, and then we have all of the wind. So you know what that's doing to visibilities out there. It's making it horrendous for travel conditions. Places like Grand Island, we have 25 degrees and it's snowing right now, but I'm concerned about places like Sioux City as well as Lincoln, where we're kind of going back and forth between precipitation types. We're right at that freezing mark, and because of that, it's more ice, and that's going to also cause problems out on the roadways, even where we're not seeing the snow and the really strong winds. So the snow and the wind, they continue as we go throughout the first half of the day. We get into the evening and the afternoon time frame. Look at some of these winds in Pierre, 40 to 50 miles per hour. Valentine, 40 to 50 miles per hour. Basically, if you do not have to be anywhere today, even if you're trying to travel, it's just not a great idea to be out on the roadways. Hopefully you are where you need to be to celebrate Christmas, because even tomorrow we're still dealing with visibility issues as we go throughout the day. So eventually this low pressure system starts to move off to the east, and as it does, then we see some clearing. And by the way, a blizzard actually has a definition. So wind gusts to 35 miles per hour over a three-hour time period or more with visibility of 4th mile or less. So Jordan, it doesn't matter how much it snows. It all just matters if you meet this criteria.
Right. It could just be blowing snow for that matter.
But it is going to snow a lot.
It is.
Yeah.
A lot.
No one wants that kind of white Christmas either.
I know. Nasty one.
It's like clear ice, you know, creating on those power lines, losing power on Christmas Day as you're trying to put the turkey in the oven or ham or whatever. It is just going to be a mess out. And Jordan, good advice. Stay home if you can. It is going to be a mess right here in the middle. This is where we've got the blizzard warnings in effect from South Dakota, Nebraska, down to Kansas and even eastern Colorado. Just when you thought you were done, we do have that storm retrograding kind of westward back. Also ice storm warnings, where Sioux City right now reporting freezing rain. So between the two, high pressure giving us the cold air and low pressure still deepening. That's our actual storm in the plains. We've got a pretty tight pressure grid out there, and that's going to get those winds cranking between the two. And that's why we're dealing with poor visibility and therefore blizzard conditions. And to actually qualify as a blizzard, you almost have to look at it, you know, as it's happening to see if we actually have 3 hours in a row of these terrible conditions. And it looks like North Dakota, South Dakota, you guys get the most blizzards per year. This is the frequency of blizzards going back to 1959 and all the way through 2014. So it's known as Blizzard Alley in this part of the country. So to qualify as a blizzard, this is your criteria. It doesn't have to do with the amount of snow. It has to do with the wind and visibility and the duration. So winds of at least 35 miles an hour for at least 3 hours in a row, and then visibility down to a quarter mile or less. And as Jordan just talked about, there are some places like Burlington, Colorado, where visibility got down to 20 feet for a time yesterday. So it doesn't matter how much snow you get, doesn't even matter the temperature and even your geographical location. You can get blizzards as long as you meet those 3 criteria in any part of the country. So there's your snow coming down this morning as you're opening up the gifts, hopefully staying put, not trying to venture out on the roadways, because I do think there will be some road closures. In fact, interstate closures like I-90 could be shut down. I-80, sections of that could be shut down as well as that snow continues through tonight. Notice how the low goes backwards a little bit, goes back toward the west. That gets more of western parts of Nebraska, South Dakota involved, and it's going to take a while for this snow to calm down. That's where those blizzard warnings go all the way through Wednesday morning for Pierce, South Dakota. Ooh, look at your wind chart here. These are winds over 40 miles an hour right about the time you've got that moderate snow going on later on today. Molly, it's just going to be a mess.
Well, the blizzard didn't stop Santa, and the rain didn't stop Santa either. We have rain in Atlanta this morning. It's a bit breezy out there too. All in all, just a little bit gross to start off our our Christmas morning, but a great morning to just stay at home and find out what Santa brought you under the tree this morning. We have warm temperatures this afternoon. That's why we're dealing with all rain in the southeast, some thunderstorms as we get into the afternoon hours, and we have some thunderstorms this morning in Alabama, and that extends pretty much for a lot of the southeast all the way down into Florida. Yes, some of our airports could be impacted if we have a thunderstorm right near the airport, or the winds get too strong, or the visibility gets too low. Some things to think about if you're traveling today. And if you're traveling out on the roadways, keep in mind that there's already some ponding out there. It's been raining through a lot of the overnight hours. It's been raining all morning. So if you're traveling around the southeast just to get to family today, give yourself some extra time, despite the fact that there aren't that many people out on the road. We have a big cold front that's going to be working its way through the southeast, and of course that's bringing the rain today. It's going to be raining for the better part of today in a place like Georgia, Florida, the Carolinas. Tomorrow the rain is still in the Carolinas as really a lot of the moisture focuses right along the coast and points just inland. Say like Raleigh will be seeing a lot of rain over the next 24 to 48 hours. We need the rain in the southeast. We're well below average in a lot of places like Atlanta, Birmingham, even places of Florida still below average as we look towards Tampa, which is about to see some rain right now, and some thunderstorms again moving in to places like Birmingham. Likely already hearing the thunder, maybe seeing some lightning as you wake up this morning and run to the tree to open up presents. So we're looking at rain throughout the day today in Atlanta, over to Nashville, but clearing out in a place like Alabama as the day goes on. In fact, by this afternoon, Birmingham, you're pretty much done with the rain, but the rain remains in Atlanta, over to Charlotte, Columbia, Charleston, seeing rain all throughout the day today and tomorrow. And then finally, by Tuesday evening, a lot of us will be clearing out where we have elevation. Of course, that ramps up the flash flooding threat big time in the North Georgia mountains and up towards portions of the Smokies. But Jordan, this is all headed to the north.
Jordan, what's in that stocking behind you?
Ooh.
We can cut through. All right, thanks to our virtual view technology. I am in Olive Park, Chicago, where we had a very foggy day yesterday. A lot of cancellations for O'Hare Midway. That was yesterday. Hopefully those flights are going to be off today. We just have cloudy skies right now, but eventually these clouds will give way to your present of rain. We've got the rain that will get steadier and heavier as we go through the afternoon, and it will be windy as well. Winds gusting 20 to 25 miles an hour. Temperatures pretty mild. Chicago, you actually need the rain. We're almost 4.5 inches below for the year, actually, now that we're closing out the year. And Chicago also, we're looking at very warm temperatures. We should be right around 34 for a high and 22 for a low. And it is certainly well above that. For today, you got the mid-50s, dropping it only down to 40 degrees. Tonight, that's actually above your average high. And then for Tuesday, looks like a better travel day. If you've got some flexibility, maybe you're driving across northern Illinois Tuesday. Tomorrow looks much better. All right, for Louisville, Kentucky, today again is your rainy day as well. We got a little bit of fog out there too, 60 degrees. Just a couple of isolated showers are possible later on tonight if you want to get a jump start on the road. And then for tomorrow, looks great for heading back to the mall for exchanges or maybe hitting the road to go back home. Indianapolis, we've got a rainy time for you on this Christmas Day, Monday, mid-50s. That's definitely warm for this time of the year. And in fact, we don't see freezing temperatures for the next few days. It's going to stay pretty balmy all the way through Thursday. And as we take a look at Detroit, we're also above average with 49 degrees. It's a little cold with the rain coming down, as you can see, for tonight into Tuesday, and then kind of lingering into Tuesday night. So for you guys, Wednesday is actually your better travel day with the sun coming back out. You need the sunglasses. Showers will be moving down the west end of the New York State Thruway, the Niagara Frontier, down to Pittsburgh, where temperatures in the mid-50s for tomorrow. 95 corridor still looks okay. Those flights in and out of LaGuardia, Kennedy, Newark, and even Boston's Logan Airport looking fine for tomorrow. But then you can see the western side. We've got Pittsburgh and Buffalo and that medium, light to medium, small to medium chance of seeing some weather-related delays. And be prepared for more volume too now that we're getting past the holiday. Boston looks like your worst travel is going to be Wednesday through Friday. You can see some heavy rain picking up during the day Thursday. This is an area that doesn't need the rain, Molly, as you know, so it's going to be very soggy here in Beantown.
Let's go
above average. We are breaking records in a place like Minneapolis yesterday, getting up to 55, not just shattering your old daytime record, but also it is the warmest temperature for so late in the year. We're not usually up there. We're usually mid-20s this time of the year with lows down into the lower teens. So you can see 53 degrees for today. We're still going to be up in record-breaking territory. We drop it down a little bit, but we're still above average on Tuesday. Tomorrow, a few snowflakes may mix in with the raindrops, and then we still have rain on on Wednesday with 53 degrees. So the eastern half of the country, this is where we're feeling that warmth from basically I-29 eastward, the Quad Cities eastward, 41 degrees in Washington, D.C. We'll be in the upper 50s in Atlanta, where we typically are in the low to mid 50s. So it's a little bit above average, but then we do warm it up even more as we head toward the afternoon. Look at 39 degrees in Kansas City. So just a chilly rain that's coming down out there. Millions of us are above average starting today and then going all the way through Wednesday. We get more of the northern tier and even the high plains involved and the northern Rockies, where we're dealing with the snow and the wind and the cold. So all these dots represent where we could tie or break records, not just on the west coast, but also surrounding the Great Lakes, moving into the northeast as well. So yeah, it's definitely not feeling right as we close out the year and approach New Year's. And in fact, we could see more records, not just daytime highs, but overnight lows are not getting all that cold. As I mentioned, we should be down into the teens and 20s for a lot of these locations like Detroit. Tomorrow morning looking to have a record warm low temperature. And as you can see, we see more records threatened on Wednesday morning as well, with Marquette getting down to 31, and we should be in the lower teens this time of the year. Good morning. Welcome back to this Christmas Day edition of America's Morning Headquarters. I'm Kelly Cash, joined by Jordan Steele and Molly McCollum here in studio. It is a festive Christmas morning here at the Weather Channel. Check out these Christmas lights, though. Some seriously decked out houses in the Dyker Heights neighborhood of Brooklyn. And of course, Christmas without the Rockefeller tree, right? You don't see the skaters out there early this morning, too. Look at them all. They're on the rink already. It's early. But the one that's missing is the snow. We don't have any snow. We don't even have cold air in the eastern half of the country. So if you're dreaming of a white Christmas, you have to head for the plains. That is where we're dealing with a lot of snow, a lot of wind. In fact, Molly, we may have got what we, more than what we bargained for in the middle of the country.
Absolutely. I mean, not only are we seeing prolific snowfall amounts and rates, but we also have some really strong winds. And that's why we have a big area of real estate, which you see in hot pink. Your eyes are probably drawn right to it. In the middle of the map, that is a blizzard warning. South Dakota, Nebraska, even portions of Kansas and Colorado, Goodland, Kansas included in that, portions of I-70, I-80, I-90, some of our major interstates. As you're trying to get to family on Christmas, it's going to be near impossible to travel. Visibilities are going to be extremely low. It's going to be dangerous out there. 12 to 18 inches of snow. That's what you see in that dark purple color, maybe even up to 2 feet in some spots. That will be definitely the higher end of accumulations. But it's not out of the question that we have a lot of totals that reach a foot of snow here on Christmas Day. So that's certainly a white Christmas. But again, like Kelly mentioned, it's probably more than you bargained for when you are wishing and dreaming of a white Christmas. Here's a look at our big system. Now behind this, there's some drier air that's moving in, but it's really going to take its time working its way through parts of South Dakota, parts of Nebraska, parts of Kansas. Here's the center of our low pressure. And so when you see these areas, these lines like this that are packed very tightly together, those are isobars. So what that means is that not only is this bringing some cold air and some moisture, but also a lot of wind. And that's what's making it so dangerous outside with the visibilities out on the roadways. Take a look at some of these wind speeds in areas like Nebraska. We've seen some wind gusts already this morning, upwards of 40 miles per hour. I'm concerned about Sioux City. I'm concerned about areas like Lincoln and Omaha, where we're right on that freezing mark. So we're kind of going back and forth between types of precipitation, so a little bit of ice, a little bit of snow, a little bit of freezing rain, even some ice pellets that you might see outside too. So it's just right on that border, and you're in that area that we talk about a lot when it comes to wintertime, where we're not quite at that freezing mark and we have some warmer air aloft too. But eventually that should change over to some snow as we head into the afternoon, maybe even some rain moving into Sioux Falls as a lot of this snow starts to, really this low pressure will retrograde back to the west. Look at some of those wind speeds. Pure 40 to 50 miles per hour. Valentine 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts, as well as North Platte. That makes it impossible to travel when you have those kind of conditions. And even by Tuesday, we're still watching some of the snow. So Jordan, it's going to take a while for this low pressure system to get out of here. So hopefully you are where you need to be for Christmas.
Entire week.
You're going to be there for a minute.
You're right.